of the Trayvon Martin verdict. All over the country, police are arresting men and some girls for assaulting white people. The national media pretty much ignoring the story, but 2 cases here in New York City have removed all doubt that serial hate attacks are going on. 62-year-old Jeffrey Babbitt killed after being attacked by 40-year-old Martin Reddick, who was screaming, "I'm gonna punch the first white man I see." Also in New York City, 31-year-old white man was punched in the face and called a cracker, allegedly by a black man who's now being hunted by police. In Pittsburgh, 32-year-old Ginger Slevsky, beaten by 4 black teenage girls who were calling her a white bitch. The girls have been arrested. Ms. Slevsky suffered a concussion and other injuries. In New Orleans, 4 boys and a girl have been arrested in hate crime. On a man, police say the black teens yelled homophobic and racial slurs at him. Joining us now from Philadelphia, Dr. Donald Tibbs, who teaches law at Drexel University. So in the context of the Trayvon Martin verdict, which angered many in the African-American community, are these attacks payback for that?
So, Bill, thank you for having me on the show. And I think I would like to first begin by saying that I'm deeply saddened by the people who experience this type of racial violence. Racial violence in any context is something that I think we want to eliminate from society, American society as a whole. It's no fun to be a victim of violence, whether racial or otherwise. I think, though, perhaps I might draw a little bit of a line between these attacks and what happened in the Trayvon Martin case and the causal connection that in some ways they're being categorized. I'm not exactly sure that I see a causal connection here. I think racial violence is on the uprise. It's been on the uprise for a number of years. But if you look at the storylines that have pitched, and I've had an opportunity to read all the stories, not at one time or at any moment was there any mention that this is payback for Trayvon Martin.
That's true.
So I don't think I would perhaps extend it that far.
There were some incidents, one in Minnesota and another, I think, in Arizona, where Mr. Martin's name was mentioned. But you said there is a rise in racial violence. Why?
I think that part of it is that there is the racial animus has never gone away. It's something that is a part of our historiography. I think the president explained that very well in his comments on Trayvon Martin. And so I don't think that we are eliminating racial violence. And as a matter of fact, our refusal to sort of talk about race and racism and the systemic aspects in which race is institutionalized in America is causing more animus between black and white and brown and other.
But all the polls say that both blacks and whites see the racial climate improving here, even in the wake of controversial stories like Trayvon Martin. All the polls say that most of the folks in black and white see the things getting better. So why would racial violence be getting worse?
I think what's happening and what you're starting to see is this is more along the lines of individualized acts. And that's why I think we have to be a little bit more cautious about how we draw
I don't want to interrupt
our
you,
connections.
But as you probably know, that my theory is that young black men in particular, and I think it stems over to girls as well, are becoming increasingly violent because of the dissolution of the traditional black home. And that you see it in Chicago, and now you're seeing it spread out in its mindless acts of violence, Spokane, Oklahoma City, you know, we're seeing all of this. So are you tying that in to these crimes?
So I think if what I hear you saying correct, are African Americans feeling more disenfranchised in the post-civil rights era as a result of not receiving some of the benefits that were supposed to be a part of the civil rights movement? Yes, absolutely.
No, but it's more personal than that. Young black men are angry they don't have a father around, and are angry, and they act out in these violent ways.
I don't think that that's a fair extrapolation, Bill, at all. No, absolutely not.
I think that's absolutely the root of all of this. All right, Doctor. I mean, you know, we have a respectful disagreement on that, but I
think we do, for certain.
It's distressing to hear that you believe there is a rise in this racial violence, because, as you said, this should absolutely not be tolerated. Thanks, Doctor. We appreciate you weighing in. When we come right back, it will be Miller time, the president's speech, Eminem, and pro football, all in play tonight. Miller.